A very good morning to everybody. How are you doing? Happy Saturday to everybody. Hope everybody's having a good day, getting the day started. For some of you, waking up this morning, it's really foggy and you probably can't even see out your window. It's so foggy. Like, it's crazy the difference across the area where I'm showing some locations that have these like gorgeous sunrises taking place this morning, and then other locations I can't even see anything on the camera because it's so foggy, right? Wherever we have fog, that will burn off pretty quickly. And I do think eventually we get into some sunshine for everybody. Now, first weekend of October, a lot of people are like, yeah, fall, pumpkins, let's go PSL, pumpkin spice lattes, and let's make it happen. Not feeling very fall-like today. Summer-like, temperatures mid to upper 80s today, a little humid, and we'll do it again on Sunday. Those of you longing for that fall-like feel, we have that in the 10-day forecast. Comes on Monday, and then next week the temperatures drop, and it's not just the daytime highs, it's the overnight lows that will be refreshing. And there'll be some mornings, I think it's Wednesday and Thursday morning would be the two mornings I target, that would be probably some upper 40s mixed in. So yeah, that's certainly a feel of fall. Let me go ahead and spin the cameras for you a little bit, see what we got. Well, there's the fog, and it's locally dense. Like in the shoals, I can't see anything on the camera. Like it's pretty foggy right now. Jackson County, all the way down to DeKalb County, even parts of Marshall County, Pulaski, zero visibility. So what that means is it's to the point when you get in your car and all you see is like, you could barely see the hood of your own vehicle at that point. Like it's pretty dense. But in East Limestone, had a gorgeous sunrise this morning, and it was actually pretty nice out. Temperatures were in the 60s, now 70 degrees there. Gunnersville, there's your fog, right? Socked in. I can't see the bridge. There's a bridge in there, and can't see the lake for sure. And in the shoals, same issue. The sun's trying to rise. You see it there up in the banner, but can't see anything. Very foggy there as well. But then in Huntsville, splendid and gorgeous with plenty of sunshine and looking good. Decatur had a beautiful sunrise this morning, which of course happened at 6:44 a.m. Sunset is about 6:24. Your days are getting, the daylight hours are getting a little shorter, 2 minutes and 8 seconds, I do believe, shorter today than it was yesterday. Madison looks good, no problems there. Athens reporting a little fog earlier, now looks pretty good to me with plenty of sunshine. And the Rocket City, that's our camera right there, looking good on 565 in Huntsville. So if you're making plans for today, the sunshine will pop. Any fog you have this morning will burn off. And the day gets all the way up into the mid to upper 80s. There's your hourly forecast through the day. That graphic should pop up now. There it is. And while we're enjoying some really quiet weather, and I'm going to show you the 10-day before I start talking about the tropics, because the tropics have been an interesting chat this morning with a few people online about exactly how it's going to play out, but I'll talk about that. Vacation Valerie, good morning to you and everybody. Gloria, good morning. Happy Saturday. Glenda, thank you for watching. Good morning to you. Vacation Valerie says, Decatur Bridge is stunning. It always looks good, doesn't it? It's a beautiful look. Hi, Lynn. Good morning to you. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. Good to see you on. I was amazed this morning at like 3 o'clock this morning how many people were commenting on a post I made this morning. It was really early, and everybody was like, hey, what's up? Either you had a really good night or your morning started really early. I'd like to think it's the night was really good and you stayed up late. But hey, Omar, how you doing? Good morning to you. Have a good day. Vacation Valerie, the hostess with the mostest, saying hi to everybody, which is fantastic. All right, let's talk tropics for just a minute. Let me put this up. All right. So, while we enjoy some really beautiful weather, and I showed you the 10-day, we're going to keep an eye on the tropics. I'm going to also zoom this out. I want to show you something really quick. So, Cat 4 Hurricane Kirk is now a Cat 3. Could eventually weekend bring some rain to Europe by next Wednesday. Leslie is a Cat 1, will likely stay hurricane status for a while. And I call these fish storms. And why do I call them fish storms? Is because they will flounder in the Atlantic for the next couple of days. That's not the area that we're watching for the tropics. The area that we're watching for the tropics is pretty much the same place where Helene came from. Hi, Michael Fitzgerald. How you doing? What are you doing at coffee time? It's good to see you, my friend. Hope all is well. I'm literally drinking coffee. You can hear me gulp. So tracking the tropics, chance of formation next 2 days, 50%, next chance of formation the next 7 days, 80%. That's issued by the National Hurricane Center. The next name up would be Milton, provided that anything else develops before this, Milton will be the name, if it gets a name. And I said this earlier, and I was talking with somebody on Facebook earlier, and people have the ability to download apps for weather that they have no clue what they're using. And she kept sending me this app, and she's like, there's going to be a hurricane. She's taking like one forecast model, and she's just running with it. There's so many more different looks you have to give. And when something is 4 or 5, even 6 days out, I would be keeping an eye on the tropics to make sure I'm updated, but there's no forecast set in stone. The one thing that looks for certain with this system, heavy rain for central and southern Florida. Not so much the locations that were hit by Helene, but this would be more of a central and south Florida event. And rainfall looks like it's a sure deal. But how strong the storm would be, would it have an impact like with winds? Are we talking big storm surge? Exactly where does it make landfall? Because there's a big spread and that makes a big difference locally. I would just pump the brakes on some of the information you may be seeing on social media. Everybody has an opinion, of course. We all know how that is. And I guess I have an opinion for saying be careful with what you see, right? But I would be very careful with some of the forecasts that you see on social media because they're usually not meteorologists and they're just throwing like the worst case scenario out there to scare you is what they're doing. It's something that you have to take seriously and watch for sure. You can see on Tuesday, I stopped the graphic at 1 p.m. See that circle there west of Florida? Isobars are packed. They're not tight, but they're certainly there in evidence of some kind of low pressure developing. That would be a tropical storm at that point, maybe even a low-end hurricane. As it makes its way closer to the coast of Florida, the west coast of Florida, the storm surge would be south of this graphic. So what happens is like Miami and South Florida would be dealing with surge and probably more wind, and then areas north of the storm on this particular landfall and track would be more in the rain event. That is mainly south of where the heaviest of rain fell with Helene, but still impacting parts of Florida that did have an impact from Helene. And then eventually we'll track to the other side of Florida and sometime by next Thursday take aim at the Bahamas and eventually off the East Coast. This is just one forecast run. This is the Euro, okay? The GFS has landfall slightly more north, but not as strong and not as much rainfall. There's a big disparity right now between forecast runs this far out. And just know that Florida certainly needs to be watched. And if you're planning a trip to like Panama City, or if you're planning a trip to Orange Beach, or if you're planning any trip closer to the beaches or coastline, I would be very attentive to the forecast the next couple of days. If you're going to be going there like next week or next weekend, what kind of impacts could happen there at the coast? If this were to jaunt a bit more north, all of a sudden maybe it gets more towards the panhandle of Florida and has more of an impact maybe on South Alabama. Right now it doesn't look like the case because a big area of high pressure should block that and keep it south. But it's all something that we watch very closely here, and that's why we keep updates coming. But pinpointing a forecast, which would be in this case 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days out, and knowing the exacts of where it's going to be is just ludicrous. So that person who was posting that forecast, they had downloaded the windy graphic. It's a really app. It's a really good app for weather. I like it a lot. But it puts people at home that have no idea about weather thinking that they know weather because it gives them forecast runs and stuff. And they look at it and say, oh, I know how to be a meteorologist. And so what happens is, you see that stuff. Just be very careful what you're watching and what you're seeing and where you get your information from. Vacation Valley saying good morning to everybody. Glenda's telling everybody have a good day. Al Moniz, what's up, my good friend? It's good to see you on. I hope all is well. Tell Susan I said hello. It's good to see you, my friend. How's the great state of Rhode Island treating you? Good, I hope. I think today is National Rhode Island Day. I kid you not. I don't know. I know that today, and I'm not kidding you on this, is National Apple Betty Day. And if you've never had an Apple Betty, it's a lot like an Apple Crisp. And I read online that Nancy and Ronald Reagan used to eat them all the time when they were in the White House. I didn't know this. And also, if you want to make a really good, essentially Apple Crisp, but in this case, an Apple Betty, tart apples are usually the best. So if you have like a Granny Smith, it's the way to do it. It's essentially an apple crisp is what it is, but it has oats in it. Anyway, it's really good, and it's National Day for that. So, and that's fitting because usually when you think fall, you think of like apple picking, you think of apples, and you think of like cooler temperatures. We don't have that here today or tomorrow, but that's the way it's supposed to work, of course, in October, right? Rita, what's up? It is good to see you on. What are you doing this morning? Speaking of really friendly people who wake me up at 3:30 in the morning with such a pleasant comment, is always Rita. Says, coffee time. Have a great day and weekend. Rita, you do the same. And what big plans do you have? There are a lot of festivals going on today. So the Boaz Fall Festival continues today. It kicked off really on the 4th, but mainly like the 3rd at night and then 4th and 5th. It's a Friday, Saturday kind of thing. And then Coleman Oktoberfest today happens. The Fiddlers are in Athens at Athens University, Athens State University. And they kick off at 9 o'clock. Competition goes, and then there's like a band at night, I think. I was trying to read the webpage, and I'm trying to remember what I saw. There's other things happening today, too, and I can't remember them off the top of my head. So this time of year, across our area, not only events like just even go to a pumpkin patch, or maybe you're going to like, I don't know, like there's these ghost tours, I think, in Huntsville. Claudia was telling me about them for tomorrow, and she's going to go to that. So there's always things to do across the Tennessee Valley. One thing since I moved here on the weekends, especially in October, where the weather, I think, is still beautiful here. It's absolutely gorgeous. You can have a lot of options for family events and things to do. Last night, movies in the park, Big Spring Park kicked off. The movie was at 6:30. I think it was Jurassic Park. If you went to this, please let me know, because the website said Jurassic Park, and then I heard a rumor that it wasn't Jurassic Park, and it might be something different. So I was confused, and I felt bad that I might have led people astray by showing that graphic on air. But Big Spring Park putting on the movies every Friday this month. You can go to Movies in the Park on their website, and it gives you a list of the movies. And Jurassic Park was listed for the 4th. And then there's other movies for the next couple of weeks. Hocus Pocus is one of them, which is fitting for the month of July, or month of October. Al, what's up? Have to call you about coming down to visit. Oh, really? Well, that would be fantastic, my friend. I would love to see you all come down here. It'd be a good time to come because we just got brand new furniture in the house, threw away all the other old stuff that wasn't even ours. And yeah, I completely revamped the inside of the house. Still got a lot of work to do. Putting some shiplap up in the bathrooms, and I'm going to get a new shower. And I'm getting shiplap for the dining room and for the living room. I made a little game room for my PS5. So come on down. Now's a good time to see it. The gardens are a mess, though. Don't look at those right now. I'm going to clean those up today. My goal when I get home is to mow and clean up some of the garden to make it look better. I need to do some edging and stuff. I've been really, really lazy. I've been focused on the inside of the house. And my good buddy Al, who has essentially inspired me to do more gardening in my life, with all his advice, Al, you would cringe at the way my garden looks right now. You would be like, oh, Jeff, it looks so bad. But my roses are on fire. My cannas are popping. And had that rain last weekend. It wasn't like a complete downpour, but it was just enough drizzle, mist, and light showers that the garden got rejuvenated and all the colors were popping. In fact, my hydrangea, which had all those dead flowers on it that need to be cut off, all of a sudden has this like lime green flower growing in the middle of all the dead ones. It's like, I want to come back. I want to be heard. Okay. But yes, buzz me. I'll be around. I'm mowing this morning, but afternoon, gonna go down to Gunnersville. Go to my favorite place. Vacation. Valerie says, birthday week. Birthday is Monday. For you, Vacation Valerie. There's a lot of birthdays this week, actually. I know a lot of birthdays coming up. October seems like a very busy month for birthdays. I know a lot of people born in October. I'm going to put the 10-day and get my smug off of the camera. It's really easy for us. So I'm watching the National right now. I can see Angie on air. She's talking about the tropics. She's showing Hurricane Kirk. She's showing Hurricane Leslie. And then she's going to focus in on that big red development zone that has an 80% chance of tropical system possible by the weekend. And again, that would be Milton. So everything I just told you, she's talking about right now on air. The track itself takes it right into West Florida and brings some heavy rain. So regardless, and I say this all the time, if it gets named or doesn't get named, it's still a rainmaker. The question is, does it take on a name system and bring in a little wind and more like storm surge? And it needs to be watched, of course. But keep in mind, too, there's like the forecast for rainfall in Florida coming with this system for the middle of the week. But there's going to be rainfall preceding this low pressure. And there'll be rain tomorrow and Monday and Tuesday for much of Florida. And then you factor in a little maybe tropical rainfall to come along with it. I guess you could call this tropical too. But I mean, some of the areas will pick up a soaking rainfall, especially for areas in central and southern Florida as we go into the week ahead. All right. There's your 10-day. It's a snooze for us. Number one question I keep getting, and those of you who didn't tune in the beginning, is that tropical system, if it gets a name, is it coming to the Tennessee Valley? There's a big area of high pressure which should actually steer this thing south. And if the timing plays out, it would keep it south. And it would have to undercut the high, and that doesn't look like it will do that. So areas like Alabama, Georgia, areas that were really throttled by Helene should get a break and it would stay south. But that doesn't mean people in Tampa and Miami are happy about this. They're like, what about us? So I get it. All right, where am I at for comments? Oh, Darlene. Darlene, I have been thinking about you a lot lately because I'm trying to send you all text messages, but I'm being very careful how I do it because I know there's a lot going on for you. But you could always reach out to me. But on that note, come back to electricity. Time to keep packing. I've been following your posts, and like I said, I know it's been kind of a stressful time for you trying to move and everything else that's going on. But I'm glad electricity is back. And you take your time on the packing thing and everything else. Everything's all good, and we'll talk more on the phone. But I've been thinking a lot about y'all, but just because I haven't called doesn't mean that I'm not thinking about you. You know what I'm saying? Okay. You always have the ability to give me a buzz. I want to make sure you're good. So, Darlene had an impact from Helene, where she's at in Georgia. She lost power and just got it back. I mean, it was out of power for almost a week, right? Almost a week. It's tough. Vacation Valley says, yes, a lot of birthdays in October. October is a big happening time. Like a lot of people that work here have October birthdays too. Mary Allen, good morning. Jeff, waiting on cooler weather. I love fall time. Well, then you like that 10-day forecast starting on Monday, because it doesn't get any more fall-like than those 70s next week and temperatures around 50 at night. It will be simply splendid. Chef's kiss, just like that. Looking good. Enjoy. Not cool this weekend, though. I'm going to wait a little bit. Vacation Valerie asking, how long without electricity? It's been a while. Patsy, good morning. Foggy in Hatton. Have a safe day. Yes, very foggy for you. If you have it, you got it, and you're socked in. If you don't have fog, you're waking up to just a glorious morning like the cameras behind me here in Huntsville. It depends about location. Real estate, location, location, location. How you wake up at the Tennessee Valley on this Saturday morning. Location, location, location. I'll show the fog. Ooh, wow. I'm going to show the fog graphic one more time. The visibility near zero for parts of the area. In Hatton, you're kind of on the cusp of that yellow and orange there. You're close. Pulaski, Scottsboro, Fort Payne's getting a little better. But Albertville and south towards Boaz, yeah, it's real foggy this morning. And again, it is very localized. You could be in that color and still probably not have bad visibility, but areas that have it, got it. Douglas says aloha to everybody, which is fantastically fabulous. Hang 10. Was it hang 10, bro? Got it. Darlene says 7 days. That's pretty good. I said about a week. Hey, give or take a day. Hey, I was on. It's basing it on when Helene made landfall, essentially. Hola, Alexandra. Good morning to you. Hope all is well. I see a big heart right there. I'm going to put a heart back to you. I miss you, Alexandra. I was literally just talking about you the other day, about when we would go get food together with Ronnie, and you'd order like all this stuff off the menu that wasn't at the menu at the Mexican restaurant. And you got me, what was it, languilla, the goat tongue thing? It was good. I ate it. You were making up things on the menu. Those waiters were like, ah! I missed that. I missed that a lot. Douglas, saying hello to everybody, which is fantastic. Everybody say hello to Douglas. He's on, chilling out with us. Vacation Valerie says, hope the packing is going well. Yep, packing and having to move and all that other stuff kind of stinks. I know, I get it. Darlene, always enjoy exploring the new area there, especially if it includes power and hot showers and wine, right? Darlene. Hey, you know what? We'll explore together when you all get situated and we get to that point. But it's a cool area, right? I think it's pretty cool. So I'm glad you and Rick got to go maybe check some things out while you were here. I know it was kind of an impromptu kind of visit, I think. But this is a great place to live. I'm so stoked I'm here. And I hope you like it as much as I do. It's awesome. Douglas, Bridge, you got the hand, headed down pat now. I'm trying to. Kind of. Languilla, Alexandra, Languilla, right? Is that how you say it? All I know is that it tasted great. And you ordered it, and you had them all running around making special stuff on the menu, and I was like, yeah, it was good. I was so stoked. Alexandra, you all come visit. I'm telling you, I love it. We have space in the house if you want to come hang out. Al and Susan, I know, won't stay. They can bring their camper or something and hang out. But if they want to, we have extra room. I will say this, though. Got rid of one of the beds, though. There's only 2 beds in the whole house now. There used to be 3. But I needed an office space. So I got rid of it. Sayonara. See you later. Andiamo. Miss you too. Douglas says, Miss Darlene, if you want any specific type of wine, let me know. Oh, Douglas, she got it covered. Don't worry about it. She hooks me up with wine. She's good. Some very good wine, I might add, that I've enjoyed quite a bit watching the Titans lose. Not last Monday, though. That wine tasted even better because they won a game. I couldn't believe it. I almost passed out. I know. You brought both kids and all 5 dogs. I've been stalking you on Facebook. You know that I have. And I always am worried and thinking about y'all. And I know it's been tough this past week, I'm sure. But yeah, I mean, that was a big adventure, right? Everybody coming to Huntsville. But, and how did the kids like Huntsville? Everything good? You let me know. You don't have to tell me here. You can tell me in the text, but how did the dogs like it? I mean, is it okay traveling and everything? That must have been tough. Y'all doing some amazing stuff right now, Darlene. I tell you that right now. Jeanette, good to see you on. Good morning to you. Always a pleasure. Barbara says, good Saturday morning from Southeast Texas. Barbara, I started talking to you because of Tiffany Murphy. Good old Tiffany Murphy. She's fantastic. Anyway, beautiful day here, she says. Have a great weekend. Enjoy you. Enjoy you too. I like that, Barbara. Good morning to you. Darlene says, I belong to a wine club and just packed up 50 bottles. Yep. I told you, Darlene got the wine hooked up. But Douglas, that was a very nice gesture to offer the wine. But I know how Darlene rolls. We got this. The wine club thing is huge. I want to be part of the wine club thing too. It's big. Darlene, you crack me up. Vacation Valerie saying hello to everybody on there, Barbara and everything else. I kind of figured, so I was going to say this, so I worked traffic on Friday, BB traffic, and there was no cars on the road Friday morning. Like morning commute was like, where is everybody? And I think because of fall break this week and the forecast for some nice weather here in the Tennessee Valley, I think a lot of people maybe made it a 3-day weekend or they went away. And I felt like it was kind of it was just different. There wasn't anybody on the roads. So I figured this morning that on Facebook Live, it was going to probably be a low turnout overall. Just because I think a lot of people are taking advantage of the weather and they maybe have left. I know Vacation Valerie's here, and I love when Vacation Valerie's here, but you just got back from vacation, right? And you still go on Facebook Live even then when you're there, which I absolutely love. But I think a lot of people probably had things planned for the weekend, knowing that the weather was going to be so nice, and maybe they took off and did like a short little mini vacation or something, just to get the kids away from the house and do their thing. Some people may be forced to go to a different place, like people, like Darlene, who had an impact with the loss of power from Helene. But overall, I imagine a lot of people taking advantage, especially for those of you who like the warm temperatures in October. I mean, this weekend, mid to upper 80s and sunshine and a little humidity, outdoor plans for some, that might be too hot or too warm, and I get it. It's never perfect for everybody. But those of you who don't want summer to quite leave yet, you get a little taste of it this weekend. Get like an extra extended version, so to speak. Darlene says, they like it. I think they are now looking forward to the move. I love hearing that, and you know how I feel about that, so that's good. I'm very excited to hear that. That's fantastic. It's a great place. Very happy I live here. Susan says, good morning from Jamestown, Rhode Island. Jeff, we still miss you. I appreciate that. I miss you too, Susan. But so happy we can see you on the Facebook Live posts. I'm here. It was funny. I was going back looking at memories. Like when you go through that nostalgia day, like yesterday, I had like a lot of pictures, and a whole bunch of pictures of school visits came on. And then it was funny, we ran a story here about a custodian at a school in Rhode Island who does these like fun Fridays. And I'm like, I did a school visit at that school. I was on air. I'm like, I know that school very well. It's kind of crazy. Tamara, how are you? Good morning, Jeff. How's everyone this morning? Tamara, saying hi to everybody. Make sure you say hi to Tamara. She's pretty awesome. I'm a big fan. She's supposed to come here and have coffee with me, and she never did. Maybe someday. I was going to come swim in your pool, and I was just going to come unannounced. I didn't care. All right, I'm going to put the 10-day back up. You don't need to see me. I'm going to check the cameras first, so I want to check the cameras to see where we're at. See how we're doing. Going there was 50-50 ride, but they got used to it. The ride back was smooth. Good. So after the drive here, Darlene, everything it was even better. That's awesome to hear. Probably get used to that drive back and forth, right? So East Limestone, still sunny. That's good. Still foggy in Gunnersville. I'm hoping by 9 o'clock this gets better, but I can see the trees now, and I can see the fog moving. So I do see like a little bit of improvement. The shoals, what I'm going to do on the shoals? I want to turn that camera a little bit. I'm going to try to come out, and I'm going to try to go to the right and see what I got. Pretty socked in, I think. I don't think I'm going to see much, but I'm hoping. Oh, there's some blue sky. There's the top of the building. So we know the camera's working. That doesn't look too bad. Come down a little bit. All right, so the shoals, you're still socked in. I can't find anything to look at. Wah, wah. Let's go back to Huntsville. That looks good. Where are we at in Decatur? Decatur, you're always beautiful. I can still see a little fog, but it's still beautiful. I don't think we're good in Madison. Athens, you're good. I already checked that. And I know the Rocket City camera looks good too. I already saw that. Okay. So the shoals, Gunnersville, still some issues. And I imagine Jackson County, if we ever got a camera there, that would be fantastic. Here's your 10-day forecast again, everybody. Doug was talking wine with Darlene. Yes, Tweety says, do something funky day. It is. So those national days that Tweety is so good about talking about, it's National Apple Betty Day. But it's also, and I didn't say it on air because I don't like saying the word funky on air because it sounds like something really bad. So I'm very careful with how I say it, but it is Do Something Funky Day. So I listened to disco music this morning. That was my playlist this morning, was disco. And I felt like that was fitting for the day it is. So Vacation Valerie says, yep, I was in PCB, Panama City Beach, and no one was there. It was eerie. Never had to wait for a table. It was a little windy, very windy for the first 2 days, but then beautiful. Yeah, I guess you know what you do. Vacation Valerie had asked me like the week before. She's like, I'm going to go to PCB, and there's a hurricane coming. What do I do? I'm like, go. Because by the time you go on Saturday, unless Panama City is completely washed out, you're okay and you'll be fine. So obviously the track was east of Panama City. They had some impacts, and it was breezy and windy, but not the kind of devastation that other areas in Helene had, right? So she goes down there, and I said, just get past the rain through Huntsville and get down there. You're going to have a good old time. And not only was it a good old time, but like there was nobody there. So win-win. No waiting for food. Have fun. Zoe, I see you. Rhode Island in the house. What's up, Zoe? Good to see you. Always a pleasure. I hope you're doing well in Rhode Island. Hope all is good for you. I have not checked on the weather in Rhode Island recently. I think you got some showers, frontal boundary moving through. Maybe some cooler air tomorrow. I'm just throwing that out there off the top of my head. I don't even know. Douglas saying hi to Tamara, which is fantastic. Talking to Susan. Gotta love Caught in Providence, best show ever. Yeah. I know that show very well. Hi, Helen. Good morning to you. Happy Saturday. Coffee time. Cheers. I see a coffee cup. I cheer you. Tamara says, I was thinking about that this morning, and I promise I'll see you soon. I'm going to hold you to that. But anytime you want to have coffee, you just let me know. Call me. I'll have my people call yours, and we can get together. You know what I'm saying? But I always love chatting with you. So if you want to get together, get some coffee, talk to me. Danielle says, foggy but beautiful this morning. Yeah. And Danielle Cryer, thank you for coming to Facebook Live this morning. Coffee time. I appreciate that. I know it's busy for everybody, and I know a lot of people trying to get outside and do their thing today, but you're right, Danielle. It's not the same for everybody. This is what it looks like in Huntsville right now. This is gorgeous right now. Like, it's warm and it's sunny. Not the case in other areas. I showed the cameras in the Shoals and Gunnersville. If I had a camera in Dutton, or if I had a camera in Hollywood, or if I had a camera in Pulaski, I'd be having fog because visibility at near zero most of the morning. It was a special weather statement issued for the fog as it's locally dense and affecting travel this morning. It should burn off. Once you get the sun to pop and you warm the temperatures up, you start to dry the air out a little bit. And the relative humidity that's close to 100% for the areas in the fog, we'll start to see that relative humidity drop. Remember, relative humidity has nothing to do with how humid it is outside. It's just whether or not, it's like how moist the air is, if that's, I hate that word, but you know what I'm saying. Douglas saying good morning to everybody, which is good. Darlene, the weirdest thing this week on my way that was driving through a dissipating cloud from the billable fire. Nothing like seeing signs of the interstate that said, don't stop, close windows, and turn off AC. Very creepy. I'm sure it was very creepy, you know. Yeah, don't stop, close windows, and turn off AC. Those are all three things that this does not sound good right there, right? You don't want any of that, like getting caught up in your lungs too. Ugh, not good. Vacation Valley, Jeff already did that by blushing during morning. I did blush this morning. Yeah, Matthew and I were talking food, and we're like thinking of ways we can get like lots of food for cheap. So we're like looking into catering services at like local places that do like catering for like parties of 5 or more. And I'm like, I can put down food for 5 in my tummy over the course of like 5 days. Sure, why not? We were pricing it out to see if it was worth it, like pastas and stuff. I could probably just make the pasta and it'd be cheaper, but I'm lazy. So we were blushing because we got caught checking things out and the camera came up. But when I'm hungry, I'm hungry. You watch out. I will devour food, though I've been a lot better lately. Zoe, it's good to see you. Always good to see you. I'm so happy you're on. I'll pull leg again. Zoe just gets me. From day one. Always like talking with you. Amanda, what are you doing? Hello and good morning to you. How are you doing? What do you got? You got any fog in your area? I don't think so. You might hit a little fog up and over Chapman Mountain this morning, but I don't know. Montesano probably has some fog, I would imagine. Need a camera there too. That would be nice. Amanda says, can't wait for the fall cold front. Yeah, it's going to be nice. I use the term cold and I do this in quotes because it'll be nice. It'll be refreshing. That's what's so nice about fall cold fronts. It's not really cold. It's just refreshing, right? A 10-day forecast was 70s for high temperatures next week with 40s and 50s at night. That's a fall cold front. It feels good. And it will definitely change the pattern from these mid to upper 80s that we have today and tomorrow. And I love a 10-day forecast where you have a little bit of everything for everybody. You have a little warm, you have a little cool, You have a little chilly at night. I mean, it's essentially the porridge is just right. The one thing we don't have there is rain, right? And for some of you, talking about drought, you know, we can never have enough rain. But the drought monitor had a big improvement this last Thursday. I know there's that pocket of severe still for areas north of Athens, up into Giles and Lincoln County, as I combine the two counties in one word. And there was big improvement for areas actually in northeast Alabama, where it's severe now, and to Franklin County, Tennessee, where it was extreme. And everybody else in the yellow means just abnormally dry, which is not bad. I know for some people, you see the yellow and you're like, I'm really dry and it's been terrible. I understand, like, I can't tell you, I don't make the graphic, but it should next Thursday get worse again because we don't have any rain in the forecast. So just when we take strides to get ahead and we have some rainfall across the area that makes a dent in the drought numbers, so to speak, we're going to have more dry weather in the forecast, which is like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Not as hot, though. Not as demanding sunshine sometimes. This time of year should make it a little bit better. But good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning. Hey, D.O. D.O. from PC is in the house. That would be Donna Oliver, everybody. Donna Oliver's. Say hi to D.O. from PC being Phil Campbell in the house. I like how Donna puts that. She's like, in the house. I love it. Danielle says, I'm in Gunnersville, Scottsboro area, fog starting to lift. It should happen pretty quickly. Like you should be able to almost see it before your very eyes taking place. It would actually be a really good time lapse. Hint, hint, hint. But yeah, that drive up, what is it? Scottsboro Highway 79 from Gunnersville to Scottsboro, right along the river, boom, socked in with the fog. But it should start to lift soon. If you're in Grant, it's probably a little foggy too. The biolab fire. I got you. I knew what you meant. Yeah, you never like seeing. Turn off AC, roll up windows, do not stop. I used to live in a town in Niantic, Connecticut, and there's a prison there. And there's been times if somebody like got out of the prison and broke away, and they would cross the highway that was right there, and there was always this weird sign that used to freak me out. You know, prisons. They called it a prison zone. It was on I-95. Prison zone. Do not stop. Do not roll down windows, and don't pick up hitchhikers and all this other stuff. Every time I drove by it, zero my whole life, and I used to freak out every time I drove by. I'm like, I'm not going to stop, I promise. It was terrible. Anyway, Tim Dudley, what are you? Yes, your face was just as red as the background was orange. Yeah, it was. I blushed. I got caught with my hand in the cookie jar, so to speak. But, you know, we were looking at food, and then I was hungry, and then I had to find like some catering services that could cater to Matthew and my needs for food. We found some good deals. I'm not going to lie. I can't say where, but it was good. Amanda says, no fog for her. No fog there. Some of you fogless. Some of you have fog. We'll all get there eventually. Thank you, Amanda, for the update. I asked, you shall receive. I appreciate that. Vacation Valerie talking about DO. Douglas talking about where he's going to in North Carolina. He'll be there for the next 10 days. That's the one thing, too, and we've done numerous stories on it. There's some real negative social media when it comes to Helene, but there's like, if you take the time to like see some of the like good stories, it's hard to say good stories because so many people's lives have been changed forever and they'll never be the same, where they've lost everything with Helene. But you see, like sometimes, I said this on air this morning, sometimes something really bad can bring out such really good things from people, like so many people dedicating their time and their efforts to relief, even locally here in Alabama. Different groups have gone to places that were hardest hit to try to help them the best they can. And, you know, I mean, that's all you can really do, right? I saw an image yesterday. It was on X, Twitter. And I can't even look at the image because it was so sad to me. It was this little girl, and she was in a rowboat, and she was crying, and they were like trying to get away from the floodwaters, and she was holding her little puppy in her arms. And oh my gosh, like I was like balled up and started crying looking at this picture. And for her, it was so scary. She was maybe 7, 8 years old, and she's clinging to her little puppy, and it just broke my heart. It was tough. Tamara says, so did you guys decide on Italian for lunch? Yeah, we're trying to figure out a way we can get like a catering service to service 2 guys that eat like enough for 10, but not break the bank. But yeah, I have a craving for Italian. That's what I'll probably end up getting today. So, Brandy Johnson says, good morning. And she says, hey, Valerie. I'm going to put a like to that. Vacation Valerie, Brandy, is the hostess with the mostest. She's pretty awesome. And she's like, says hi to everybody coming in. And I think it's pretty cool she does that. So I'm a big fan. And she says, prayers to all those affected, of course. Definitely. Amanda says, my sister lives in Covington, Georgia. Or is it? It's Covington, right? Not very far from Conyers. I know the area well. And yeah, I mean, there's so many areas that were hit. And, you know, I think, and I'll say this again, and I said this when the storm was going to make landfall the day before, is, and we all get focused on Cat 4, Cat 4, Cat 4, Cat 4. I know that gets all the attention. But the Cat 4 versus a Cat 3, all the differences is wind. That's the only difference. There are so many other factors with hurricanes, like storm surge, like 20-foot storm surge that throttled the Florida coast with flooding inland. I talked to my friend Missy, and her father had damage, you know, inside the house from storm surge, not wind, storm surge. The heavy rainfall, you know, we always get caught up on Cat 4, Cat 3, but it was the rainfall inland that got tied up into that frontal boundary that we talked about how it was going to be. Areas inland, we're going to just have as much rainfall as areas probably at the coast, probably more rain inland, because you're going to start to get into higher elevations in western North Carolina, and you're going to wring out that rainfall like a sponge in some of those higher elevated areas. And that's the thing, is like, you don't think Asheville, North Carolina and think hurricane, right? You think mountains, but it's so not the case. There is such a lasting impact with landfall making hurricanes and tropical storms that are so much more than what happens at the coast. You know, look at our area. You know, we had Helene, had minimal impacts, but there were some areas in northeast Alabama that picked up like 3 inches of rain. But then take you back to Francine 2 weeks before that, and the weakening, the remnants of it, all it was just a low pressure left over. And it's 12, 16 inches of rain in portions of Lawrence County. And the Shoals had over 10 inches of rain. And this wasn't even a storm anymore. It was just a low pressure at that point, but it packed a punch with rain. And that's the thing about tropical systems that I think gets so lost, is we all get caught up on the number and forget about the number. Look at the size of the hurricane. Look how many areas are going to be impacted. What side of the hurricane are you on? West side's usually not as bad. East side's called the dirty side, especially the northeast quadrant. Spawn tornadoes. Some of those areas didn't even have tornadoes, and they had tremendous damage. But you know, it's just knowing a little bit about a basic structure of a hurricane and how it plays out is so impactful, other than wind. Vacation that correct. My face was pretty red. Brandy said, just got back from PCB with her, so fun. I'm glad y'all had a very good time. It's good. I didn't know that. I'm now putting 2 and 2 together right here. Brandy was with PCB with me. It was a ladies group from church. Got it. Got it good. I'm glad you all had a really good time. I'm glad you all went. It's good. I'm glad. Douglas says, poor Florida getting all the rain from the next system in my favorite vacation spot in Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, it looks pretty rainy in Florida for the next week, for sure. Again, the bulk of the heaviest rain mainly south of the areas that were impacted by Helene, but still a big rainmaker. And then it could be so much more if that system develops into a named system and it becomes a hurricane. It has more in the way of some wind, some storm surge, the heavy rainfall areas. When a hurricane makes landfall West Florida, it's South Florida that's usually on the dirty side. When Andrew made landfall and it went South Florida, that was still the east side because it was coming from the opposite direction, and South Florida was the bullseye there too. Got to remember, the dirty side of the hurricane is all relative to the movement that it has that it's making landfall at. Now that I've completely and utterly confused myself. No, I didn't. I'm just kidding. I gotcha. Okay, now I'm putting 2 to 2 together. Brandy's pretty important, so she's cool. We're good. What's up, Brandy? Fist pump. Yeah, anywhere at a beach for me makes me happy. Florida has a lot of beaches, but we want everybody to be safe too. But PCB, I got to get down to it. I want to go to Orange Beach too. I don't know. I got to think about like getting away, but I don't have time for vacation right now. Life is busy. Stan, what's up? Good morning, Jeff. And all 3 men from my church to help me and determine their checking. It was a leaking faucet, not leak in the line. Okay. I appreciate the update, and you let me know how that goes. And it's so nice that they've come into your house to help you out, my friend. If anybody, you want to help a good guy out, it's you, my friend. So I hope they all find it and find the leak. And yeah, when you get an electric bill that's like way higher than you expect it to be, and you find out that there's some kind of leak, I mean, that's a scary thing when you're a homeowner, right? So Stan, you let me know how it goes when they come over and check it out. Hopefully it's a faucet and not the line. I went to a house, I would never say which house, but I went to a house one time and it was a home inspection being taken place. And not only was there a leak in the line, but there was a leak in the wall. Water was just gushing out of this one pipe. I couldn't believe it. And as a homeowner, that is scary stuff. That's a big fix. And that can cause a lot of damage too. Vacation Valley says PCB had no damage and just west of Helene. They said it was some good wind and rain, but not bad. Yeah, I mean, Panama City is obviously spared. I mean, they're on the west side, That's a big difference. I mean, where that landfall is huge, and it throws off the strength of the storm depending on where it links landfall. If you're west of that, you don't have as much of an impact as if you're east of it. And that's why landfall is so important at the immediate coast. But after that, it's a free-for-all. Because once it goes north, it was that rain wrapping around that big area, what was becoming essentially the remnants of what was left of Helene, getting sucked up into an upper level low with a frontal boundary draped across the boundary of the mountains. And it's just a potential for very heavy rainfall. And the National Hurricane Center had an influx of very heavy rain all the way into the Carolinas with that storm too. Does some of the numbers, did they have that like the areas that had 30 inches of rain? No. Far exceeding the expectations. But still, locally higher amounts are expected, but that was a bit ridiculous, obviously. Like areas like near Boone, North Carolina. I got the update last week, I think it was when the storm hit, and Appalachian State, which is in Boone, North Carolina, canceled their game and didn't reschedule it. And it was because the campus took on so much damage. I mean, these people are all going to get their lives back together. Football is like the last thing they're thinking about. And at first I was like, wow, they canceled their game and they didn't reschedule it. And then, I started seeing the reports from Boone coming in and I was like, wow, yeah. I mean, completely wiped out. They put a statement out saying the damage was so extensive that they couldn't even think about playing a football game. Man says, what do you and your bunch have planned this weekend, Jeff? Oh, Amanda, thank you for asking. I appreciate that. I hope you have a good weekend. I hope your plans are awesome. I'm going to mow this morning. Yay. I'm going to weed whack, and then I'm going to go ahead and get some of I haven't weed whacked the yard in like a month and a half. So there's weeds growing in places like in front of the mailbox and in front of the front step that need to be cut back because it looks really gross. I need to deadhead some of my plants. I want to clean up my garden. I need to edge the walkway so it actually looks like a walkway. And then I'm going to put all that stuff away and drive to Guntersville and go hit my favorite cigar place and enjoy an afternoon for me on the lake of Guntersville so I can see everything and all the boats because I'm sure it's going to be probably pretty busy. I can't wait to go. What are you doing, Amanda? What do you got planned today? Big plans? What are you doing? Talk to me. 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 Talk to me Vacation Valley, we actually went there on Friday, so no rain the entire trip down out of Madison County. It was a beautiful travel day. Yeah, and you know what? It's really great when as a weather guy, and that works out when I say, hey, you know, once you get there, you're good. I thought you might hit a little bit of rain here before you left, but that all pivoted north so fast on Friday. We were good. Amanda says, I have friends in Augusta that still don't have power. Yeah, the power outage numbers are still off the charts. Like, in fact, there are more power outages in Georgia, North Carolina, and South Carolina than Florida right now, I do believe, last time I checked. I mean, that was the last update I saw, and that was last night at 9 o'clock. So the numbers may have come down, but nonetheless, I mean, we think this storm made landfall in Florida. You'd think there'd be more power outages there, but during the entire power outage, there was more. Now, it hit more area in Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina than it did Florida, but still, it's crazy. Don says, looks like a beautiful day out there. You enjoy. Don, you must be that one that location that doesn't have fog. I'll show you the cameras real quick, and I'm going to go, everybody, okay? I got to go mow. But I'll tell you what, Don probably has all that sunshine. He's like, yeah, that looks good, and it feels good. Let's see what our fog areas are doing real quick and see if we see some improvement. Now, you all been hanging out. Yep, that's a huge improvement. So we couldn't even see the trees in Gunnersville moments ago, right? Now, not only can I see the trees, I can see the bridge too. Let's check out the shoals. Okay, that's better. I can see the ground. I see a parking lot, which is good. See, turn the camera up. It's getting there. The fog's elevated. It's lifting as we speak. And there's the building. Give you a reference. I don't even know where I'm at pointing at this point. So that is probably where I get my sunrise from. So I'm turning the camera, but you can't even tell. Oh, wait a minute. I see something at the ground. I see something. See? So it's already getting better there. So that's good. Bada bing, bada bang. All right. Bring it on. So back. So there's the fog situation. Let's see what the numbers look like too. Oh, by the way, that'd probably be a good graphic to use, you dork. Yeah, okay. All that red and orange and yellow backing off a bit. Look at Fort Payne up to 10-mile visibility. I said it would happen between 8:30 and 9 o'clock, and that's a good call. We all right. Bring it on. Let's be fogless together. Zoe says, mow your yard. Yeah, like row your boat. Is that where you're going with that? I can't stand mowing. But the one thing Zoe, what's different about here is like up in Connecticut, I would start mowing like maybe end of April or early May, and then I would stop mowing like early October. Here I start mowing like in February, and I mow all the way till like November. The grass still grows through Thanksgiving. It's crazy. Make it stop. Amanda says, hanging with friends and family, football, good food, and good company. All of the above sounds good. A lot of big games today. Alabama will be in Nashville taking on Vanderbilt, a very improved Vanderbilt team, by the way, who's having a very good year. That's my team in the college football game, by the way. I've been playing with them for like 10 years now, after Western Kentucky fired me. Anybody see the Western Kentucky helmets they're wearing this weekend? If you are a Hilltoppers fan, check it out. Big Red is their mascot, and they have this helmet that they're wearing. I think it's this weekend that has Big Red's eyeballs only, and it's a red helmet, and it's totally fire. Like, you got to see it. I hope the video game, the NCAA college football game, downloads it into the game, because I will go back and play for Western Kentucky just to wear those helmets in the game. They're pretty awesome. And Auburn, of course, going to Georgia between the hedges to take on Georgia. And North UNA taking on, I want to say it's Utah State. And after winning their first game of the year last week, they're playing an 0-5 Utah State, and they could go to 2-1 in conference with a win. So there you go. UNA. North Carolina just absolutely breaks my heart. Yeah, I mean, the image is coming in really from all locations, but yeah, that area, especially in the Asheville area, seems to be one area that we focus on so much on the national media side of it. It's that one area the rain totals were just beyond gaudy. 30 inches of rain. Douglas, what is this? Glad you have a northern U.S. meteorologist. Oh, It's really funny because in my TV career, I really I have done more forecasting in other areas than North. But I am familiar with snow for sure. Vacation Valley says, yeah, we had a little drizzle here, but not much at all. And yes, you can rock and work. Oh, I don't know about that. I get 1 or 2 forecasts right a year, so it works out pretty well. Don says, no E here at my house in Weimar. I don't know what the E is, Don. None here at my house. Got it. I got you. I try to figure it out because I make typos and I'm really bad. Like sometimes you'll read a post of mine and if there's a typo, I have no problem if you say, hey, Jeff, proofread your stuff. But there's a tone for that. I had a lady that like ripped me apart the other day because I had a spelling error. I'm like, look, it's only on my page. I'm trying to type good stuff. Sometimes I get excited and I type too fast. Don says, none in Weimar. I love Weimar, by the way. Speaking of Weimar, close to Coleman Oktoberfest today. Yep, good for you. No fog for Don. Good. Waking up good. Zoe says, oh my gosh, endless mowing. Right? Oh, I break out that lawnmower way too early. But I will say this, my tulips come up in early March, which is really kind of splendid. Vacation Valerie says, Royals baseball today. I know, Kansas City, big win. Tigers, Royals, knocking out the 2 big dogs. And now they're going to take on the bigger dogs, so to speak. Got a Royals. I'm good friends with a Royals fan. Yeah. I'm a Giants fan. We beat them in the World Series, 2014. Mm-hmm. I will have fun mowing. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. And as much fun I can have mowing. I'll put my iTunes on and play my music in my ear. I think I'll go a little yacht rock today. That's what I'll go when I mow. Darlene says, I think at one point Georgia had 3 million without power. Think about that for a minute. 3 million plus. That's what she put. The numbers were ridiculous. I mean, like I said, it's hard to fathom what everybody went through. It's a big word for me. And unless you're there, it's so hard to put it in perspective. I mean, I guess for some people here in the Tennessee Valley, especially northern Alabama, you go back to the tornadoes in 2011 and so much widespread damage, right? I mean, it's tough. I mean, it's weather, when you have a big weather event, something that is on the magnitude of Helene, and so many lives that have been impacted that you can't get back, it's tough. Hurricane Sandy, it wasn't even a hurricane when it made landfall. It was post-tropical in New Jersey. I mean, there was so much damage at the Jersey coast that they still have shows on HGTV of houses that were abandoned back when Sandy hit and still trying to get people to live there and build them up FEMA regulations. And those people just said, I'm not doing this again, I'm out. And they just left everything behind. They didn't care. Susan, I will enjoy a good cigar today. Thank you. I appreciate that. I can't wait. Love my little cigar time on the patio in Gunnersville. Makes my day. Vacation Valley says, I remember that. I was sad, but we got it next year that the Giants World Series was great, except Royals lost. Yeah, the Giants won, and we didn't even make it to the World Series the next year, but then the Royals came back and won the year after. Amanda says, situations like this are why I wanted to be a storm chaser to help people. Fantastic. Yeah. Unfortunately, sometimes it takes bad weather situations to inspire people to do weather, which is, just how it is, of course. But it's always cool to want to be a storm chaser and be part of the fix instead of part of the problem, right? Which is fantastic. Have a great day, Zoe. Tweety says, God bless the linemen. Yeah. Like cots in schools where all the linemen are sleeping right now from all parts of the United States, helping people restore power in that area. I mean, there's been numerous stories done on it nationally. It's amazing. Leaving their families to just go and try to get power on for these people who need to get back on their feet. And sleeping literally in cots, in schools. It's amazing. Darlene says, it blows my mind that Georgia had over 10 million people, but when you think of it, the 3 million are just a number for customers. I know, and that it is wild. I mean, it's a huge, the amount of impact is so hard to comprehend. unless you're in it, right? Amanda, I've been wanting to be a storm chaser since I was 4 years old in Mississippi when I got hit by a tornado. I'm trying to think what inspired me. I didn't have a lot of tornadoes in Connecticut when I grew up as a kid. We're just not a tornado place. But I did have the blizzard of 78. And that was inspired me to want to go into meteorology. I was 6 years old at the time. And I was like, this is crazy. And I wanted to do it. And now I'm doing it. At least I try. I play one on TV. Vacation Advisor says you can take the Storm Spotter class and become a Storm Spotter. I did, yeah. And the Storm Spotters classes are great. You know, it gives you a basic knowledge of some of the things you see in the sky, gives you a basic idea of how to send updates in. And we needed more spotters up in New England. We didn't have enough, but we didn't have a lot of severe weather. You know. But sending valuable updates as a storm spotter is very important, especially for meteorologists on TV, the National Weather Service. You know, it's important. What's important is I go get food in my tummy because it's growling and I'm really hungry. So I'm going to bust a move and go. Hey, enjoy the weekend. You know, if you want it a little cooler, we'll get there. Amanda, if Vacation Valerie doesn't send you a link on how to register, there's some. You can go to the National Weather Service page, but I can also remind me, send me a message, and I can get information for you. Okay. I don't know exactly when the spotter classes are and stuff. I'm not as familiar as down here as I was up in New England, but I will let you know. Just talk to me. Send me a message. Have a good day, everybody. If you have fog still, you won't for much longer. The camera in the shoals, I can see everything now. Like it's completely lifting. It's like literally lifting before my very eyes. I can see the splash pad. I can see the parking lot. Can't quite see the dam yet, but I'm getting close. So where we had that dense fog, it's already improving, which is good news. Which means everybody will be into sunshine here in about 10 minutes and enjoy a really nice day. Everybody have an awesome Saturday. What are we doing today? Chelsea's in tonight. I'm back tomorrow morning. Chelsea's in Sunday night. And Eric Burke is on Monday. So schedule is normal for us. And she'll have the very latest, not only on the local weather and the sunshine and the temperatures, but also keeping an eye on the tropics with more updates to come. We try to keep our tropic updates fresh, and we do that not only on air, but online as well. Everybody have a fantastic day. Enjoy your Saturday. A little slow at first, then got better towards the end. I kind of figured with the really nice weather there wasn't going to be very many people on.